Good evening.
Everywhere I go on this island, it seems to me I find degeneracy.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. See, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid.
We have a bargain.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
You feel the pain. Always the pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
His entire work consists of violence, all the time, obsessed with the issue of violence. Mayhem, gouging out of eyes, autopsies on the stage.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 195 of, God, that's quite a lot of them, of Double Feature Horror Show. We are covering 28 Inches Longer, the much awaited, long delayed, what?
I wondered how long it would be before you bring out the bloody dong references.
Oh, come on.
Less than 10 seconds, was that?
I think so.
Hey, I played an intro that was a minute long. So it was at least a minute and 10 seconds before I started talking about meaty appendages.
We're already starting to quibble, okay.
So, some might call that an intro.
Ah.
You know, I thought I was bad with my screen name today, but you were all just outdoing me.
Yeah.
Well, after last week's balls up.
Yeah, we may have cutting out Harry, but you know, we'll do our best. We'll do our best, won't we? Hopefully, the Wi-Fi or the data will prevail.
I was tempted to go with a Conor McGregor picture that's apparently surfaced this week, but I thought best not. You like your channel.
Oh dear. Do I want to ask, or should we let people flood in and we'll just keep talking about dongs? Or
yeah, I mean, so
which was your favourite in the film? There was a plethora to choose from.
Well, let's see.
Having gone through with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes. After going full EFAP and examining frame by frame. I mean, that
really does fit with the name there.
Yeah. Forensically, I went through it forensically. I suppose the alpha on the train would probably be the Samson was his name, if I remember correctly.
Woke, the one bit of diversity in the film, woke.
Oh, shut mate. Literally
the only non-white man or woman in the film, woke, and that's who you choose. Goon-brained.
Sorry. You know what? In that moment, I didn't see colour. I only saw size.
You finally understand what MLK meant, what he was dreaming of this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you check the FBI files on him.
Oh,
I was reading the producer's notes, and that's all prosthetics. Did they have dragon? Did they have dragon logo?
I mean, he was South Asian. That had to be prosthetic. They don't. That just doesn't happen in that part of the world.
They had to. It had to be a. They all had to be prosthetics, given the fact that they had cast like a 12-year-old boy in the movie, so they couldn't exactly have all these guys, flashing dong.
Yeah, that's
in front of them. Otherwise,
well.
Otherwise,
I don't know if you guys were old enough. When I was in school, they made us watch The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. You guys remember that film, right?
No. I wonder why that film.
I don't know. I don't know why an English literature class would happen to choose that film. I assume it's because of its incredible literary merit and for nothing else. But there's the Auschwitz gas chamber scene in that, and I read an interview with the kid who plays the main character where he's just going, I was just in this room full of naked men, and they all kept walking past me and brushing past me, and they explicitly asked, like, they were wearing flesh-colored pants, right? They weren't actually naked. He's like, no, they were naked.
But after the casting session with the executives, what happened?
Well, then he was shoved in a gas chamber with a load of naked men.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Do you reckon we're gonna get one of those Wikipedia notes now? That'd be awesome.
I'm so sorry.
No, it would just be wonderful if we triggered. Like sometimes it comes up.
Well,
on completely the wrong thing just because a keyword has been said.
Should we just start spamming like conspiracy theories to see how many Wikipedia notes Horace Joe could get?
Well,
let's try JFK.
On one Lotus Eaters video, I titled it "The New Content Cop." You know the iDubbbz videos. The new content cop gave me AIDS, and it got a Wikipedia note underneath it explaining what AIDS was.
Absolutely amazing.
Although I will say it's funny that you say if we're old enough to remember. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas wasn't out when I was in secondary school, I don't believe.
Well, no, that's what I mean. I meant if I know I'm with a load of creaking bones.
Mate, more than you realise. See, I was old enough that we still had Shakespeare in English. It was it was Leonardo DiCaprio's version of Shakespeare, but it was still Shakespeare nonetheless.
Yeah, and I did.
I was shown that
Macbeth
as well. Actually,
I played Macduff, and we did the sword fight in class.
Oh, cozy.
So we were shown
literature.
We were shown Othello and had to read it as well, and we were also we all found it very when. A few giggles.
You cut off at the best bit.
Yeah.
Oh no. We also did have to read of Mice and Men quite a few times, and there were parts where they say the naughty words about les blacks, and
one or two times I recall.
Oh no.
Yeah, and the teacher had to be like, "It's okay, you can say it. This is a safe space. You don't have
English
to worry."
literature teacher literally handing out N passes.
One for you, one for you, one for you.
Listen,
Harry,
it was a very white
you
school.
return it after class, right? Yes, sir.
No, it's mine. Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I keep it? After all, why not?
Oprah Winfrey, Harry's English
Bilbo,
teacher.
the N pass is still in your pocket. Anyone do a good Gandalf?
No.
Bloody hell. All right. Well, I think we're just going to get into it because we've got a lot to say. If you don't know, all the people here are absolutely wonderful. You should follow them. Their links are in the description. You should throw loads of money their way, tons of them. You should send crypto to them, all that good stuff. And if you like what I do, get a membership, support me either here or on Subscribestar, get the exclusive content, all that good stuff. There you go. That's a shilling. I remembered it. See, Adam, I can shill.
Woo!
I'm just too English for it. Now, we are here finishing off the 28 years or 28x later series, doing a bit of we've done a reappraisal of 1 and 2. We are now, or rather days and weeks, and now we're covering the very recent years. We should say at the outset, if you've made it this far, I think you know what's going on. We will be doing a full spoiler review. Do not be alarmed. So if you don't want to be spoiled on the movie, then you can duck out. But it's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it? And frankly, let's be honest, we're all here for the replay gang. I love you guys who turn up on the night. I think replay gang, people coming in years later say, hey, this isn't the whole movie. You scammed me. You know, they're the people who need to know it's going to be full spoilers. But I felt I should do the warning anyway. With that said, I think we can pretty much get into it. It is the long delayed sequel. Certainly some members of the cast are very long, and it was indeed delayed. It's also notably got the return of the original director and writer. If you don't know, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, but a drastically different approach. For one, I don't know if you guys got the feeling that after 28 weeks later with its, what was his name? Go on, Spanish guy. Spanish guy. I'm fair. He did a all right job. He's a director.
He couldn't have done a good enough job in Danny Boyle's eyes, considering that he completely scrapped.
Well,
that movie,
memory hold it
right.
Does this film really feel connected to the first or second one at all? Other than the little text at the beginning of this, this feels like a completely different world, especially with how the zombies work. The zombies are completely different.
Are you suggesting we have a Prometheus situation here?
I'm suggesting that Alex Garland kind of just wanted to do something completely different with this film, but whatever studio picked it up and financed it said, you've got to call it 28 years later. Because it disregards basically everything, except for the fact that Britain is quarantined. And I think Cillian Murphy's coming back for the second one. So I'll be interested to see how they carry on his story.
Well, I did like the fact that Cillian Murphy, they said he was involved, yes, as an executive producer. And everybody freaked out, including me, about the really thin Cillian Murphy zombie. It was actually somebody else. And Danny Boyle's like, oh, no, they'll recognize this character actor. And his wife is like, no, you're going to catch flack. And then Danny Boyle was like, yeah, I'll eat humble pie because of the reaction.
Well, it's funny you say
so it was just an accident.
Yeah, it was a pure accident. Because I was watching an interview and they mentioned that infected, and he was like, I didn't even see the resemblance until you brought it up. He's like, I genuinely didn't idea. So they were like, so this wasn't an intentional thing. He was like, no, he just looked good as an infected. It was never the intention.
Yeah, because it's not like that zombie really has any major plot in the film other than popping up to draw the attention of other zombies, which is what any of them could have done.
Yeah, it probably got more screen. It probably got more screen time in the trailer than it did in the actual film.
Well, do you reckon that that Danny Boyle just he's like, oh, this guy looks good as a zombie, and then the marketing team were like, hold up, this guy looks just like dead Cillian Murphy. So we'll plaster him all over the marketing to get people talking.
They didn't do that. Danny Boyle and his marketing team were like, nah, he doesn't look. Ignore it. Just use it as a pop-up warning. And then, oh God, the internet took over.
I have my doubts, but if they are being honest with that must have felt great for Cillian Murphy to see, like, oh my God, it's an emaciated, skinny, dead guy. It must be Cillian Murphy. He must have been thinking, well, thanks, guys.
I have my doubts too, because I think like you can knock it down, but I mean they put that guy in who's got he's memorable, but he's got a very minor role, and they also let you hear the name Jim multiple times.
Yeah,
which is like, Cillian Murphy's character in the first one. So I feel there was a little bit of what John Goris is here named ye olde bait and switch.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, Jim, I assume, is just referring to good old Saint Jimmy, who shows up at the end. He's
in the beginning,
and he's at the end. I was wondering by the end if that was just a completely unrelated thing, because I was thinking they've really not done anything. And in the last minute of the film, he shows back up. I'm surprised, given the tonal whiplash of that last minute. I'm surprised they didn't play Saint Jimmy by Green Day. But death metal Teletubbies was as good a substitute as any, I suppose.
They did try and clue you in through the whole thing with the Gospel According to Jimmy graffiti. Jimmy carved into the Rager, who was hung from the ceiling.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice he had that carved into him. There's probably loads of foreshadowing to Jimmy that I didn't notice earlier in the film.
Yeah,
I was on the lookout for it just because I'd read Callum's review And it was like, oh my goodness.
Oh, I've not actually read Callum's review, and as we all know, I'm locked out of Twitter at the moment because I was a naughty boy for making jokes. Make jokes legal. What was his review again?
Sorry to interrupt. Didn't Callum and Edward Dutton do a video together?
Yeah, they did a whole
this.
good.
Yeah, no, I was going to watch it, but I intentionally avoided it because I hadn't seen the film yet.
Would have spoiled the heck out of it.
Yeah, you just reminded me.
I've got it flagged for watch later, but I was waiting for after this.
Because it does ask an interesting question, and it's something that I actually really respect Boyle and Garland for doing. Which essentially, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, they really time capsule this film, and I'm sure we'll get into it later. But
definitely.
When the little boy sees the smartphone,
oh yeah,
and sees the Swedish guy's girl.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with her face?
The viewing I was in absolutely cracked up on that. It was
yeah. Shut up, she is a 10. I tell you now, she's a 10. She's like, oh yeah, I know what's wrong with her. My friend's got a nut allergy or something like that.
You see girls who look like that with the big puffy, like done up lip filler faces around my area. Imagine you're in the cinema with your girlfriend and she's got a face like that, and the whole cinema cracks because that's you can't hide it. Then they all know what you think of her, what they think of her now.
Yeah, the lip filler, the cheek filler, and the Ozempic hollow cheeks. It's kind of like, and you consider that beautiful? Ick.
Well, I'm from Sweden. This is what we have to put up with. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Norquist was a useless idiot.
Well, I think we can build on that because there was a question about what was Callum's review. I think that's a good launching off point for one section of this discussion. I'll try and steer us a little bit, but otherwise, I want us to have fun. Before we get into that, Adam Loves Horror, thank you so much for $2. Much appreciated. Saying proud of you all for shilling. Yes, you know how it hurts.
Get your shills. Hey, guess what, guys? My Stonewall video that's almost been a year in the making on Lotus Eaters, the biggest parts of it have been edited now. So most of the rest of it should go a lot smoother. So hopefully soon, subscribe to Lotus Eaters to see that by the end of the year, maybe, hopefully. Our editor, Jack, kind of hates me at the moment because just as a random note in my script, I just noted down for like 2 chapters of the video, don't cut back to me at any point here. Just let the visuals speak for themselves. And I did not realize when I made that offhand note, not even thinking about it, just how much work that meant he had cut out for him. Because I'm not an editor. And that's a good like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
As a faceless
forever.
Yeah, as a faceless YouTuber, the work that goes into finding things to fill those gaps that could be filled by your wonderful looking face. I speak in general terms. Can be quite fun.
Well, the thing is,
I will genuinely speak to camera for longer than I would normally in a video, just to reduce the editing time.
Yeah,
behind the scenes knowledge.
I filmed it back in, I think, September of last year. So it's going to be kind of the riot just took a few days. So yeah, it's taking a lot longer. I filmed it like back in last September. So it's going to be whiplash seeing Harry from a year ago in a new video.
But in fairness, you change the style so often.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll only know if we measure the biceps.
Look at it from a positive
actually,
perspective.
the arms have got smaller this year because I've lost 20 kg, 22 kg so far this year. So I'm much
somebody get
slimmer.
this man a sandwich. Get this man a burger right now.
Much slimmer than I was this time last year.
45 to 50 pounds. Wow.
Yeah. It turns out if I just don't stuff my face and do cardio, miracles can happen.
At least this video is coming out before GTA 6.
Well,
hopefully.
There we go. True. So I'll yank us back on topic. Callum's review, folks. If you haven't seen it, at Akkad Secretary, you know who Callum is. odd for me to hear him talk about a movie. I wish he'd do it more. The guy's got a good acumen.
I used to be able to talk to him about movies all the time in the office when he still worked for us. He's great. He's got fun views on films.
Yeah.
I remember when
he just famously didn't watch anything.
No, he does watch things, and he has very interesting views on them. He watched Breaking Bad up to the end of series 4 and then decided to stop. And I said, why not? Series 5 is great. And he said, yeah, but it'll have an unhappy ending. And series 4 had a happy ending. And I just want them to have a happy ending.
What? No! Oh my god!
That was
what a soppy git.
And he's never gone back and watched series 5 either. So, I respect it, to be honest.
Yeah, fair play.
Oh, well. So what Callum very perceptibly noted out, he gives us the basic. I mean, do we do a pint of Guinness summary? Should we quickly do it?
Yeah, let's go ahead, just so that not many people have watched it. So
yeah. I mean, we could use Callum's review as the pint of Guinness summary if you want.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Have you got it?
Yeah, I've got it. Let me pop it up on.
Lawrence says, "Didn't series 4 end with Walter poisoning a child?" Yeah, happy ending, exactly. Yeah, he got away with it. The kid survived. This was my point. I did another shill for Lotus Eaters. I did a video for Lads Hour a few weeks ago on why Walt did nothing wrong, and he didn't do anything wrong. The kid didn't die. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew not to kill the kid. For goodness sake, Gus was going to kill his family.
Yeah, it's all legit. All right, so we'll go through Callum's review because it does have the plot. Again, you've had your spoiler warning, so here we go. But it also has plot criticism. So I think there's a good way to look at it quickly. Spoilers. So people want to know. Oh dear, people want to know about the cock. So going to do a spoiler run through of the movie. The movie starts with a nice pre-apocalypse scene. By the way, stop me if you want to pitch in on any of this, guys. Movie starts with a nice pre-apocalypse scene of Scottish kids all watching Teletubbies in 2002 before they all get butchered by infected as the virus spreads. Okay.
Hang on, sorry. Before you, why is Carl the one asking to post spoilers? Did he not want to go and watch it himself then?
He was intrigued by the dong.
Gay.
I'll make no comment.
Yeah,
well, you can tell him I called him gay because that
it is pretty gay. It is pretty gay to want to know about the cock.
Although, mind
that's
you,
what got his interest. You know?
To be fair, I did go and watch the film about a week or so afterwards when these. Although after the rumors came out, although in my defense, I did mute 28 years later as a thing on X because I really didn't want to stumble across anything.
Anyway, so we have that opening butchery scene and then Black American singing about a promised land. Yeah, it's a little bit jarring when you've got a time capsule, extremely English film. It's a little out of place. We cut through some clumsy exposition that the ending of 28 Weeks isn't canon. They nuked Paris or something. Fair summary, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. It's a single line. They pushed it off the continent. We don't even know if they nuked Paris. They just somehow managed to push it off the continent. But to be fair, I also wouldn't want to bother with the ending that 28 Weeks Later set up because 28 Weeks Later's ending just felt like it was a complete throwaway. It's like, it's a horror film and things have got worse.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be quite fair, I quite like the idea of this virus being isolated to a specific area. Because
especially England, because England and Britain presents. I like that it got to Ireland as well. Actually, looking at this map, because they just don't address Ireland. Whatever, Ireland.
No, they don't.
Who cares? We don't care about the Irish, says Danny Boyle.
Yeah.
Only the Scots are the English.
Wikipedia says he's English, definitely.
Mr. Boyle is English. Okay.
Danny Magic Soil Boyle.
But yeah, it presents a lot of interesting choices for sequences and geography, like they use in this film, where the little settlement that they have on here is on one of those little islands over here, where you can only get to it through a walkway that is revealed at low tide. That's interesting. That's good.
Yeah.
100%.
Very cool.
And they have the watchtower with the ballista and a couple of boats and old 18th century lighthouse lamp. That
glorious
was
stuff.
Yeah, that was, or 19th century, sorry. But yeah, that was well done.
Callum writes, we're introduced to a surviving community living on Holy Island, which is protected by the tide. Also, very appropriate name. It's very English, not British, not UK, post-apocalypse. Everyone's white, everyone practices a longbow. They fly only in England flags and have rural accents. Now, on this, something worth saying, in the conversation Callum has with Dutton, Dutton picks out a character called Rosie, who he identifies as being like Moroccan or something, or slightly med, basically. So a little bit of diversity, but I looked that actress up. That actress is in fact one Catriona Belfer. This girl, if she is in
Welsh,
no, she's entirely Irish. Irish.
Oh, so she's a dark Irish.
Yes,
Black
a little
Irish,
bit dark Irish.
That does happen, and she's got proper blue eyes as well.
Yeah. So you can see her in plenty of things, and you can see a lot of her if you watch Outlander, a series which you really can do a very interesting psychoanalytic reading of. It's very, very much an author self-report, but I'll get us back. So confirming 100% British island.
English. And also, it's quite interesting.
I suppose every character is English, but she's Irish.
True, but we are flying the England flags, which goes to show that even when society has crumbled and Britain is no more, the English just can't help themselves but take over Scotland again.
Wouldn't you?
Exactly. It's in our blood, mate. It's in our blood.
Yeah, I know what that's supposed to represent.
There really aren't many photos of Slow-Lows online.
Yeah.
Like the best I could do. Where is he?
I just got it.
Where's my lap? Where is he?
That's brilliant. Sorry.
That's like the best one I can get of them, to be honest. So
oh my god.
I think it's best we stick with that lad. Anyway.
Oh wow.
Father, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, decided to take his 12-year-old son to the mainland to get his first kills. Mum is mentally ill or something. Mission seems pointless risk and is. They shoot obese slimy zombies that crawl on the floor eating worms. Now, I don't want to push you guys for anything, but this might be a point where we have, let's say, a first quibble with the review.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think it's pointless. Personally, it's training the youth of the island to be able to go out and survive with because they need to go out to the mainland so that they can get resources. It's something they'll all eventually have to do one day. So he's going out with his dad, who we're shown time and time again through this first third of the film is not just competent, but he's like super competent. He's insanely able to take care of himself when they're out on the mainland. So he's kind of the perfect person to go with. You might be able to quibble and say, perhaps they should take a larger group, but when you're on little missions like that, a larger group could be more of something to slow you down.
Yeah, detriment. Yeah.
This was a typical primitive rite of passage where the father instills wisdom. And I do like the fact that they show the forest partially cut down. And this is where we get our wood when we send out work parties. And then they showed the field of blooming flax where they get all their fiber for ropes and fishing line and nets.
Yeah, it was really great world building because you didn't actually have to say much to convey exactly how it is that the Holy Island is able to survive with the resources they have available.
I'm so glad you guys said that. Brilliant. brilliant. We're picking up, like, just like you said, just, you see how much was cleared, and that gives you an idea. It's not like the mainland, they never go. It's, they can go, but it is a calculated risk. And this, it sets it in the context of, we've got to remember, like, this is a society that frankly has to be tough, has to be capable.
Yeah.
And they don't start their 12-year-olds learning about trigonometry.
And they do lampshade it as well, saying that the main kid, he is younger than they normally do. He's like 13 years old.
14,
and like,
yeah.
They're like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Normally they like putting them out 14, 15. The dad is just so confident in his son's abilities to be able to handle himself that he thinks that he's ready. I think it is also a little bit, you know, he wants to be able to get him away from his mum, because the mum is taking up so much of their time and their emotional bandwidth, having to look after her. It seems from the father's point of view, he wants some bonding time with his son where they can really be together and really learn to trust one another. And he also, frankly, needs a break. That's what it
absolutely spot on. Absolutely. I mean, as we find out later, just how seriously ill Spike's mum is, it makes even more sense that is it Jamie, the father, Jamie?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
that he would want to take his son out of that environment, and because essentially, he's on the verge of losing one parent and could potentially lose another at any given time. You know, all it would take is a trip to the mainland that goes wrong. So yeah, he wants his son to be as prepared as possible, while also trying to remove him from an environment that, you know, is potentially going to emotionally impact him. And it just wants him. This is the thing about this character, because I went to see the film with my brother afterwards, and we were talking about his character, and there are some that could sort of look at him as some sort of toxic sort of male role because of how he behaves after they get back from the mainland, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I argued that no, I don't think that at all. This is a guy who is going through it emotionally, but obviously can't display those emotions. He can't be emotional. He has to be strong.
Yeah, he has to be strong for the sake of the community and for the sake of himself, so that he can hold himself together when he's putting himself in these dangerous positions.
Well, they do say that Jamie's one of the best hunters, one of the best providers.
Oh, and you can see that.
And Jamie says that he's been training up Spike, and he's far more mature than his years, and he's big enough now. And the elders finally give in and say, "Oh, okay." So
yeah, he's one of those characters. You don't have to agree with the decisions that he makes, and you don't have to. Certainly, like you say, when you reference what happens when they get back from their expedition, that's not a good thing that he does. That's a bad thing. But the film gives you more than enough to be able to understand why he does it. He's not a bad person at all. He's by all means, from what we see, he's a good father, and he cares about his family, and overall he's a good man. But given the situation that he's in, he cracks and makes bad decisions.
Yeah. He's a flawed character, as we all are.
He's been carrying the family for years, you know. It's
but on the whole,
and also big props to Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he does a great. I think he's actually these days. I really like Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he's a really underrated actor, and I think he does a great job with this.
Yeah, as uncomfortable as it was, and it was meant to be, Jamie getting drunk and bragging about his son's prowess, his son Spike running out, and then seeing a drunk Jamie and the school teacher making out. That was played well. They very, very well acted, and it was meant to be uncomfortable, and it was.
Yeah. I have to correct myself. It wasn't Catriona Balfour playing Rosie. It's a girl called Amy Cameron. All right. I confess, upon looking, she might have a slightly more exotic heritage. I'll take the L on that one. If
We're going to get a Wikipedia. That's where we get the Wikipedia article.
There we go.
Sorry,
There we go.
I was looking at chat for a moment. Repeat that for me, please.
I checked. Actually, I got the actress wrong. I got bad information. It's not Catriona Balfe who plays Rosie. It's an actress called Amy Cameron, who may in fact be a little exotic. But even in 2002, let's be honest, one or two. Let's be honest, it's not crazy.
Amy Cameron. She looks like she could be Welsh, maybe.
Yeah, could be in there.
Yeah, you say you're looking at the chat. I saw Dr. Prepper reminded me actually of the mother's name, Isla, which means island, which is quite symbolic, given that one could argue that Spike's world is his mother.
Yeah.
His island, his Isla.
Very much it. I mean, it's a great point. It's a great point. I'm trying not to get. Yeah, I'm trying not to get sucked up into the sort of mythological reading, but yeah, there's so much in the scene where they're sort of celebrating Spike, like building the legend. There's a lot in there, but quickly getting back just so we can do the plot run through. Callum talking about what happens when they're on the island. They are yes. Yeah, they shoot obese, slimy zombies that crawl on the floor eating worms. True. And they, for some reason, do not shoot a baby one. Much to discuss. Later, they get spotted by some normal rages controlled by an alpha and have to run and hide in a loft.
Can we just rewind to that?
Amazing scene. Yeah,
because I thought about that when they didn't shoot that baby one or that child one.
I forgot. It's been a few weeks. I forgot about the baby zombie.
And I wonder whether that was even infected. Because as you find out later on in the film, again, I'm sure we'll get to it through Callum's review, but I feel like what happened later on in the film can kind of not necessarily answer, because I'm not saying that they would know, but the way it was behaving compared to its, and I'm air quoting, like its mother and father was different to how it was.
The magic of the placenta.
Yeah.
Well, look, there are problems in this. Let's be honest. We'll get to them. But the little slow-lo, I thought the idea was just not a threat. It's not a threat. Don't waste your ammo.
This comes to one of the things that bothers me. They kill them off. They have limited arrows. They have limited arrowheads, especially steel or iron. Why didn't they at least pull the arrows and snap off the iron heads so that they could be reused? I mean, they are in subsistence mode. Any iron or steel would be taken back with them and refashion reed arrows or yew arrows. That irked me.
You did have a very good catch that actually they could do a lot with the cutlery that was declared useless.
Yeah, when they get into the house and are rummaging through, that's useless. No, you hammer stainless steel spoons flat, sharpen them, and you have perfect broadheads for hunting the herds of red deer that are just stampeding through everywhere.
I will say on the point of like the slow zombies, they're not actually much of a threat, but this is where we've mentioned the alphas. Perhaps it's time to talk about the complete switcheroo on how the zombies work in this film, because we've got video game zombies. We have Left 4 Dead zombies. The point of the big fat slow moving ones is they can sneak up on you though, and if you kill them, they can let out a howling shriek that will alert all nearby zombies. So there's a risk reward to being able to try and take them out, because they can pose a slight danger if you let them slow up on you. You've got to take into account like video game risks, which to be fair, given that this is a more, certainly the first third of the film is a more straight up action orientated film than either of the first two, I would say, means that the action that were presented is more interesting just because they have to be more strategic with how they handle it.
Well, like I was saying before, this is the first half of this movie is a straight up medieval rite of passage movie where the hunter takes out his son, leaves him in the wilderness, lets him get his first kill, comes back, says he's a man now, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I've got to be honest as well. Whatever little quibbles we can get from the writing here and there, like the misuse of some of the resources and such, the first third of the film, I thought was brilliant. To be honest, it was paced perfectly because there wasn't really much time at all for you to catch your breath watching the first third, and it had my heart racing, which is not normally something that happens in any films these days. Most films don't get me excited enough to actually get that kind of physical response out of me. But this was done well enough that it did. So, I applaud the filmmaking for that.
Yeah. To go back to the very beginning when Jimmy Crystal escapes the house, Teletubby's house, and runs to his vicar father's parsonage.
Yeah.
And his father is in joyous rapture that the end of times is coming and welcomes the embrace of death.
Yeah, he lets them get him.
Yeah. And he's got that bright smile, including once he's zombified, and he's got that huge gaping smile and starts screaming.
Who else thought that when they saw that in the trailer that was going to be sort of like a pre-bit to the church scene in 28 Days Later?
I thought they were going to run into a village of rage worshippers, and it was to a point, but it wasn't the way I thought it would.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be some kind of plot line about fanatics, but it was much quicker than that. It was just one guy, and on that with the themes, I thought it was. I'm interested to see where they go with it, because when we see Jimmy at the end of the film, he's got the upside down cross. And does anybody else watch iHypocrite? Some of the streams that he does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did a little video review on one of his streams that he uploaded onto YouTube, and he was talking about some of the things that he was perhaps a little bit concerned about. The idea that one of the first things you see in the film is like the Christian imagery where he welcomes the rapture, whereas the village seemed to be much more closely associated with pagan imagery, and the whole idea of the mounted skulls later on in the film. Although I think that's taken more from Catholic theology
Danny
and practice.
Boyle really doesn't like Catholicism or
yes,
I was going to say the vibe
from the memento mori thing. But basically, iHypocrite's theory was that the film was trying to present that some kind of nestled theme that perhaps paganism is in some way better, or at least more suited to surviving in a situation than Christianity. I don't think so. I think
it's
going to be a trilogy, and given that Jimmy is going to be a much more prominent character in the second one, I'll be interested to see what they do with those ideas.
Excuse me. I disagree with iHypocrite's take. I think it's more this film, in terms of the way it portrays the people in the village and whatnot. It's a film about regression, right? This film isn't about essentially everything. All of the modern things about the world that we live in at the moment have been completely stripped back, to the point where you have you do have like a rollback of sort of like ritualistic and spiritual say celebrations or worship, if you will, or beliefs. But you've also got things like the return of the traditional role models, which is apparent throughout sort of like the imagery and the scenery and the way that the people are contributing towards the village. It's not, we don't, you can't afford to have critical race theory or or feminism, or modern sort of political themes like capitalism, socialism. It's just a game of survival, and
it's all for one, or we don't survive. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like you either fall in line or you die, basically. And you sort of mentioned about the Memento Mori. It reminded me. I really love the contrast between Jamie and Dr. What was his name? Dr. Kelson. Because on the one hand, you've got Jamie, who is in denial about his wife's condition and is unwilling to accept, what's going to happen to her, because when Spike asks him outright, he essentially denies, or is just unwilling to. Yeah, he stalls. He's unwilling. Whereas you've got Dr. Kelson, who is all about acceptance of death, and it. So the contrast between those two characters, I felt was really well.
There was the acceptance of death with the Memento Mori. I might save it till we get to it, but I also felt there was a rather surprising and based theme around ideas of collectivism, standing on the shoulders of the previous generations, the intergenerational ties that bond us together, and the things that we all owe to one another. Because there's that very conspicuous bit where he Spike knocks off one of the skulls by accident, and Kelso turns around and he says, "It's all right. Individually, the skulls can fall off, but the structure itself is strong." And that felt really pointed. It felt like this idea that, individually people can be weak, but they all have their part in the great chain of being, which makes them all stronger in connection to one another, which was, again, very interesting given how ethnically homogenous this whole film was. And I don't know what to make of it, because there was all of those themes that I could recognize in it, but it's being made by two people that I expect aren't actually based in real life. So there was some interesting contradictions going on there. And also, somebody asked a question earlier, which was Lawrence saying, "Do you explain why Britain is still overrun with the infected? Aren't they supposed to starve to death after around 60 days? After 60 days? Yes, they are supposed to starve to death. No, we don't know why it's still overrun. I think you're just supposed to expect to get the infection has mutated by this point, and the zombies are much more able to survive by themselves.
How did the crawlers get fat? That's
a good question.
That's a weird one, but I think they clearly eat deer now. That's very established.
We do see that.
The alpha leaves deer corpses and they rummage through, they scavenge. No, the one thing I will mention about the tradition where the doctor is explaining to Spike Memento Mori, and once he gets it once Spike picks up on it, and then he says, "But also remember, there's another part to it. Memento Moris. Remember love. Always bring love into what you do. Always love those who deserve it." And that's very traditional too, and it's also a counterpoint. It doesn't hold. This is more of a gentle Romanesque look at it. It's harsh, but it's remember death, but also remember love. It's not the Liebestat of the Germans, which is a whole foobar thing, but it's traditional, and it means a lot through that.
There is a lot to unpack there, definitely. But when we get to that bit, I'll maybe try and rush us through so we can do the plot reading for people. hopefully people. Before I carry on and rush it, I'll just say that's a random name. Thank you for $5. Who hasn't watched the movie but has heard mixed messages about it? No doubt, no doubt. There are problems with that, and I think more literal reviews will be much more negative.
I don't know where abortion shrine comes from. You could call it a euthanasia shrine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right, okay. But at the same time, okay, I've just got to say it. In the context of the film, it makes perfect sense that you would make that decision.
Well, it's also
yes.
when I first saw the trailer, it's like, why is there a Mayan Tower of Skulls? And then once the doctor explains it initially, it's like, oh, it's an ossuary, memento mori. It's remember the dead, and he's remembering the infected. He's remembering those victims who died.
He's honoring.
It makes a lot more sense, and a lot of the imagery, especially the starbursts and the crosses, remind me of the Sedlec Ossuary Church, which has been featured in a lot of films and documentaries. It's a lot of the same imagery, and it's very Catholic.
Yeah, well, again, the woke reading that people want to take out of it, and I can understand why, is that the film is trying to do some predictive programming for the euthanasia bill that's passed through Parliament at the moment. Perhaps that is part of it. But I think there is something more foundational and fundamental to it, which is the idea that the generations owe one another, and there's a virtue to sacrificing for the greater community that doesn't make as much sense in a country. Socialized healthcare, yes, where it's being done purely to make sure the socialized healthcare has the best bottom line possible. But in the situations that they find themselves in, where she's literally got terminal cancer that spread to her brain that makes her not understand who she is half of the time. She's in a constant state of confusion and suffering
and pain
and pain. And it is also a major detriment, both emotionally and in terms of the resources to her community. With all of that context that the film sets out for you, it does make sense as to why she would make that decision. Because they're in the post-apocalypse. It's not like she can get chemotherapy. It's not like she can get treatment for it. So perhaps the film is trying to send what would be a message in our world. But I'm sorry that all of the context that it provides for the world that the film is based in, then it doesn't send that message. It doesn't work that way.
No.
Yeah, it's even when Spike is confronting the doctor, and it's, well, you're a doctor, you can save her, and he says, even if I had the modern equipment, she's past that point. I couldn't save her if I wanted to, even with the most modern equipment. She's too far gone. Between brain cancer, breast cancer, and lymphoma, she's too far gone. And that's the point where Spike grows up. Once he realizes that.
Yeah, like it's slightly tricky because in that bit he doesn't take the action so much himself. It is taken for him, but he does take decisive actions to do the growing up rather immediately after that.
Yeah,
but he does also accept it in that scene.
He accepts it. He doesn't cry. He just
he's drugged up at the time, so he's
true. But once he wakes up, he accepts his mother's skull, and he climbs to the top of the tower and puts it as the top piece, which in a high wind it would blow off immediately. But yeah, it's good symbology that he's growing up fast.
Yeah. Can we just stick on that for a bit? Because I think that was I think bollocks to the plot summary. Well, we sort of said it. You can follow it. Basically, he takes his mum to the island to be cured, to find the doctor. They're hunted by a giant alpha with an absolute. Yes,
he's behind because they sneak off the island because his dad cheats on his mum.
Yeah, and
that's set up for a very nice redemption plot for the second film as well.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, I'm really worried they're going to screw it up. I'm really worried they're going to get.
I really want it to be good because I really like Jamie. He's such a good character. Johnson's doing such a fantastic job with the performance. I want to see him redeemed. I hope DaCosta doesn't ruin it. It's still being written by Alex Garland, so god damn it, have enough care for your own damn characters, man, please.
Yeah, it's already been shot. I think they're just looking for fun. I think they're just looking to get funding for the third one. But I really worry that this is going to get the Last Jedi treatment.
Oh god,
yeah,
especially the last 2-minute scene. It went from a nice, serious post-apocalyptic. I was expecting him to run down the canyon and bolt into one of the caves and roll a stone in front of him before the zombies saw him. And then the Jimmy Savile mall ninjas come out of the woodwork in bright Slavic tracksuits. And I mean, they're basically ninjas. And I was like...
well, they're Power Rangers. They're Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Think about like Jamie at the beginning of the film. He's got a Power Ranger on his desk, right? And he picks it up and he puts it down as if to say, "Okay, I'm leaving my childhood behind me now." And then at the end, you're seeing effectively. I know it's Teletubbies because of the beginning and the death metal music, but they are effectively doing the old over the camera front flips and Power Ranger moves to kill these infected.
And it's great.
I loved it.
So
I loved it.
It's so fun.
But they are Power Rangers,
I was enraged.
But Spike's still a 12-year-old. Look, Spike's a 12-year-old boy, right? And he's seeing effectively like the Power Rangers come to life in front of his eyes.
He doesn't know what the Power Rangers are, does he?
But he's got a Power Ranger.
Oh yeah.
He's got a Power Ranger action figure, so he might have played it, or he might have asked his dad about it. Obviously we don't know, but I think if we can, I don't think it's wrong to assume that he would have an awareness. Go Parkour Rangers. But yeah, and obviously you've got Jimmy.
I feel as though it's going to be in the second film a conflict between Spike, who is wise beyond his years and has already experienced enough to grow up, and Jimmy and his band, who are refusing to grow up because they've been stuck in a state of arrested development, having to survive by themselves the whole time.
Jimmy Fox, Jimmy Crystal.
There was Jimmy. I think someone was called Jimmy.
Oh yeah,
I saw that in the credits.
I forget what the fifth one was called. God, that annoyed me. I was so upset by that because it took it from a beautiful, serious film looking at post-apocalyptic with all the problems in the world, and then you throw in a comedy bit with people who idolize Jimmy Savile. And I'm just like...
But...
This is
they didn't know. They didn't know.
They didn't, and that's the thing.
He died in 2002, right?
Well, no, he didn't die until 2010.
No, in 2011 or something.
Oh, yeah, in this universe. Yeah, no, sorry, yeah, no, of course,
in this universe, the allegations didn't come out.
I've really got to hone on that. Like, that is actually really important. Like, part of this film is about, how can I say it?
How time stopped. You've still got the Queen as the recognized monarch. You've still got the Sycamore Gap tree. That's still by Hadrian's Wall. You've still got that. And of course, it's silly to say now, but back in 2002, Jimmy Savile was still seen as a national treasure.
He had a good reputation.
His reputation was incredible at that time.
It wasn't even until a little bit after he died, because I remember, I bet you can't find this anymore, when he died, Russell Howard had a
Oh, I know.
TV show and did an
Yes.
episode special memorializing him and saying what a great
Yeah.
inspiration he was, and how
Yeah.
Russell
and how
Howard
much
having a horrific take. Imagine that.
I
Lawrence,
know,
have you
right?
seen Jimmy Savile's Hair? We all knew. You just reminded. It's not quite related, but have any of you seen that interview he was doing with that boy and Chewbacca?
No. But the actual Chewbacca, like
yeah. So this
the
yeah, the boy says something, and Chewbacca lets out the the usual noise, and they're like, "Oh, what did he say?" And the little boy turns around and says, "Oh, he senses something evil in the room." And then it pans out, and Jimmy Savile's there, and he's like, "Oh, whatever could he mean?"
Oh my god!
All right, hang on.
It's all right. He was a little boy. He was safe.
I've got to get the point out. Like, one of the things going in here, and I think this could possibly lead to the subversive reading if people want to do that, is that one thing this film is saying is that there is a strong nostalgia about going back to the past, right? That's what the Holy Island people have to do. They form a very old style community. But what it is saying is in that nostalgia, there's a danger in that there's things in the past that you don't know. So the thing is, like, in the past, you know, Jimmy Savile had a good reputation. People were saying stuff, but it wasn't the widespread one. So it's a little caution about uncautious nostalgia. I think that's a fair comment. Maybe
it is in there. It's very subtle, and it's nowhere near one of the primary themes.
No.
The more blatant one in the beginning of the film when they kept flashing to the clips of Henry V, the old movie.
Oh yeah. There was the very strange editing. I thought that editing was borderline comical, but actually quite effective at being like disorientating. There was a lot of editing tricks in the first part of the film to constantly keep you on edge because you didn't know what was going to happen next, and Boyle kept kind of throwing in these disorientating cuts for you. It was interesting.
One of the cuts was the longbowman from Henry V, and then flashing to the children being taught how to use the bow on masked dummies on the island. That was a good touch, showing that all the youngest children are being trained.
So I can make sense of that. I can make perfect sense of it. It is absolutely jarring, like images just popping in. And that is, well, there are two levels to this, I would say. One is a basic thing is, this is Spike going along and his training is just popping into his head. He doesn't know what's coming on. He's nervous as heck. He's filled with cortisol. He is, his dad knows he's nervous. So as he's going through, it's like he's thinking of his training. He's like thinking, right, we watched this, we watched that film. Maybe they somehow have a working film, or he's been told about it, Agincourt and Henry V extensively. That's flashing in his head. Maybe somehow they had footage of World War I, so that was in his head. And then he's thinking back to his training. All these thoughts are like flashing back in his memory because he's, super wired, ready to do his first hunt.
Yeah,
or
I did.
The second reading of it with Boots, playing rather amazingly.
At first, the way it was
hang on.
I thought they had a radio station that was picking up number station from the ships, and then I recognized it as Kipling's Boots. I was like, "Oh, okay, this makes sense."
From the trailer, I mean, EFAP had the idea that I didn't watch their whole episode, but I think their idea was that the trailer was such a hit that the song was rather hastily put into the film. Don't know about that. But what I want to posit, an alternative reading of why the images of Henry V, trench warfare and Boots came like flashing in. A little bit of like what we might call ancestral blood memories. Like, this is like the English that have returned to being English, to living as the English want to live. And as they're doing that, the old ancestral blood memories are flooding back, as one might meme about on Twitter, but maybe the film's sort of getting at that. This is a society returning to its nature.
The alternative, subversive reading could be that it's attempting to draw a parallel between the fruitlessness of war and older men leading the younger generations into killing fields. Although, again, with all the memento mori stuff that's later in the film, I don't think the rest of the film would support that.
No. Was that the subversive reading that you thought was maybe a little schizo?
No. I have a
okay.
much more schizo reading. Should we get into the Prego zombie?
Let's do it. Let's cover it.
Sure. Do you want to explain it? You were doing such a great job with the plot synopsis. Just catch the audience up on Prego zombie.
All right. So this is one of the adventures that happens in Spike's sort of solo quest to take his mother to Dr. Kelson and get her treated. Is after one of their several sudden rescues by a randomer. Since we're talking about this bit, I'll obviously understand, folks, I don't have many images, but I'll get you this guy. An extremely contrived sequence where somehow a Swedish guy with a gun ends up with them. Let's not stress about it.
Well,
the intro to him and his compatriots, I was like, why would you jump into a ditch when it funnels all the zombies to you?
Storm drain,
and why aren't you doing the 2 steps back, kneel, fire, get up?
Yeah, how a squad of
you,
trained professionals with automatic guns manages to get overwhelmed by a few naked dudes running at them?
How did the Swedish get overrun by savages?
The British, man. It's the British.
Just not realistic.
It's the British. We are just that great when it comes to warfare. we don't.
Unironically, yes, we are.
You got big guns. Well, so have we.
I mean, just look at
helicopter
what
guys.
AA has been doing with the leaderboards of who's been the most successful warring tribes in history. The British are pretty up there.
Do you know what? I have one criticism about this scene. And I just wish only one really, because we've got a Swedish guy with a gun. I would have preferred it if Danny Boyle had this scene shot on a bridge.
Oh,
God.
It took me a second.
You can say it now. If PewDiePie did that now, he'd be celebrated.
You didn't celebrate him then? What?
It was like he should have looked into the camera like Back to the Future. Like, you don't get this now, but your kids will love it.
How much do you reckon he'd get from the GoFundMe?
I'd donate. I mean,
he could do it.
He's such an effective troll. Just him posting pictures on his social media of here's me and my happy family gets people calling him a Nazi because they're all white.
Oh no.
He's like, I've taken my child back to the homeland in Sweden, and everybody goes, this is just what Hitler wanted. So Hitler pretty wholesome, apparently.
Good old wholesome.
PewDiePie and his family moved back to Sweden from Japan.
They visited there so that they could go and visit the family, and he posted pictures of his son playing in a beautiful field of flowers and said, just like showing the boy his homeland, and loads of lefties would just go furious at it. No, you can't have a homeland. No.
I love it when he did that Yukio Mishima workout video, and then just like he knew how rage-inducing that would be, and just said, "Yeah, Mishima had some politics. I'm not going to talk about it."
And then when he's like, also, have you read Nietzsche? Nietzsche had some very interesting ideas. Read Nietzsche and Aristotle.
So anyway, pregnant zombie time. Yeah, they're skulking around. They're hearing a heckin' big sound, and they go inside a train carriage for reasons. I guess for safety and shelter. And in that carriage, they find a pregnant zombie. Ba, ba, ba.
We do see her a couple of scenes before, though, don't we? In the lake. Yeah.
She is
in the
Catholic.
stream, hand fishing.
Yeah.
And because his mother is somewhat out of it, she just sort of connects with the infected woman on like a clear feminine level, like
holds his hand.
Right. Okay. It's interesting because what you have got in this scene are two ill. Because remember, the infected aren't dead; they're alive. They're just being, there's a virus that's basically. I'm not going to go over it again. But what you've got in this scene are two women who are, not in their right mind, that essentially come together during this magical moment, I guess. But it's interesting because the whole magic placenta thing, the placenta protects the baby from becoming infected, and the stress of labor seems to bring the woman out of her rage, out of the rage virus for a moment, hence why she's able to hold Isla's hands and go through the and go through labor. It really threw me because I was like, is she infected? Is she not? But yeah, obviously as soon as she's given birth, then the rage virus takes back over and she's quickly put down by Eric.
Well, there's tension, isn't
Classic
there? Because
woman moment.
Eric is saying, like, shoot them both, shoot the baby.
Well, you don't know that the baby's not infected.
Well, this is it. Yeah, this is it. I mean, it could be a carrier like in 28 weeks later.
Like, right. I'm sorry. If I was in Eric's position, I don't know if I'd have done anything different.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable. Yeah. It's not unreasonable. I mean, you're asking the question, if you could go back in time, would you do in Baby Hitler? But yeah, Eric isn't being unreasonable in this scene, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't blame Eric at all.
He's frightened.
And then Daddy Alpha comes in looking for his
he's used to iPhones and plastic girlfriends and delivery drivers, and he's just witnessed an infected woman give birth with a crazy woman handling a potentially infected baby and a 12-year-old boy standing in between both Eric and this woman. He's going to be free.
Just protecting his mum, and the mum is having a moment of connection.
Yeah,
that goes beyond the rational. And then Eric
the cultural differences are quite stark at that point. You think Eric looking at that, going, "This is normal here in mainland Britain. I don't like this. I shoot your baby."
Right.
Oh, no. So
this is where the schizo begins.
Okay, go for it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay,
Buy me up. Tin foil is on.
Please tell me if I'm reaching here. So basically, the Alpha, Samson, interesting choice of name, who's impregnated the infected woman, is the only bit of diversity in the film, right? The only major bit of diversity that we see, the conspicuous non-white in the film. And we get this very, very explicit scene of him ripping off Eric's head immediately after this, because Eric backs away and he gets ripped out of the train carriage, and you see the Alpha jumps down with Eric's head and skull and his spinal column in his hand. So first of all, you get the very pointed and explicit imagery of a non-white decapitating in a brutal way, murdering the whitest character in the entire film. He's Swedish. He's got bright blonde hair. He's got bright blue eyes. He even says in the scene before, I'm a Viking. I'm descended from the Vikings. You should call them berserkers. He makes a very clear point of his Swedish heritage. So you get the imagery of the diversity killing the whitest guy. And that's not all of it. You also get this whole nestled theme in there of the diversity has had the baby with the infected woman, but the baby, one, is not only not infected, but also is white, right? And there's this, they take the baby, eventually give it back to the community, and the community is expected to raise it, this motherless child. And in that, I can't help but get this feeling that there's this CivNet kind of idea being pushed here of like, well, yeah, you have these rage-infected zombies in your towns, in your communities that cause destruction, but their children will be just like you.
They start off as a blank slate, bro.
Okay. Yeah, their children can go into your communities and can integrate, and they'll be just like, they'll even look like you past a certain point. And that's all through the magic of the soil. I mean, the placenta. Am I being crazy? Right?
It's an interesting theory, but there is one thing. We don't see the alphas impregnating the women. I would not be surprised if it turns out that it's not the alphas or, you know, the slow lows or the fast ones, but perhaps an interesting group that, you know, get their inspiration from a certain general in 28 days later.
No. They make a very clear point of showing that when the alpha kills Eric, he looks and sees that the woman is dead, and it's at that point that he becomes really enraged and seems to be after them for the sake of getting a hold of the child. I think that the film is trying to tell us that that is the alpha's child.
Maybe.
I mean, did anybody get any other reading from that? Because I thought
all I could think was when Samson got on the train, all I could think of was Hagrid.
Oh dear. Yes. Well, now that's in my head too. I will say I think the focus that Samson
Harry
has on the baby is like telling us it's a kid.
Harry,
also, it's very sort of like spoilers. It's very I Am Legend, you know, that sort of plot element as well. So there is a genre. Genre cachet to this idea, but the idea, I see your reading, Harry. I don't mind that. I would say
that's like the one major bit of like subversion that I could see in the
I
film.
don't know. I think man,
Tricky mental. You're right. I'm wrong. You're completely right.
By the way, folks, if you haven't seen it, I want to say this while he's in. Tricky Menthol has a very good write-up on this. I'm going to post this in the comments. Go and read this after. This is a really good little blog on that. So kudos, Tricky Menthol. Enjoyed it very much.
Greek Spunk saying about the film potentially having an anti-Brexit tone to it. I don't necessarily think it does.
Where's the anti-Brexit?
Yeah, because here's the thing. I've heard that argument, and a lot of people talk about the sort, because you know this idea of isolationist England or isolationist Britain. You know, us.
But the Holy Island works though.
But it's very much the opposite way around. It's the world keeping Britain in, as opposed to us pushing the world away, which. Yeah, kind of signals against the an anti-Brexit narrative. And you know, if you have a highly contagious virus that could spread at any given moment in time with the smallest hint of introduction, you'd probably want to try and keep that away. I like how
like is it literally just because England is quarantined? Because the only other thing that we have. Yeah. The only other thing that we have to base off of the film of an isolated community with strong borders is the Holy Island. and that works perfectly. That's a strong community that keeps them all safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't see the anti-Brexit angle, because I've seen mainly that coming from like left-wing people, and that just feels like leftists trying to reach for acceptable left-wing film themes in a film that, other than my potentially schizo reading of this one small aspect of the film, is accidentally quite based in many ways.
Yeah, I would say if they're trying to do it, then they've done then they pulled a Verhoeven and haven't really understood what it is that they're trying to argue against.
But they're so media literate. They always tell me this.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy didn't take the film at face value. Didn't understand it at all. How dare you actually analyze the content, substance?
Well, the thing is, we are kind of taking this film at face value, and the face value themes are not left wing at all.
No.
I mean, shall I? We're 80 minutes in. Can I do my schizo reading?
Yes, please.
All
right.
Your
channel. Do what you want.
Well, I have guests on. I want to hear from the guests.
This isn't a democracy. Come on, or a show.
All right.
We can regress.
All right. Okay. So my thing is basically predicated on Alex Garland. I don't think is woke. I think he doesn't have woke instincts. I base this, on how I see Ex Machina, especially how I see his 2022 film Men, which I think is incredibly based. I will do that stream, guys. I will. But effectively, I don't think he's the liberal lefty type that he's painted as. And what he gives us maybe is a manual for how to see the current situation, or how things could go for the English, right? You've got a community that basically let's start with who is on the mainland, right? So the international world is basically against you. Fair play. If you're on the mainland, if you stay on the main of Britain, so maybe mainland society, typical society, you could end up as a slow low, just basically a worm, obese, eating slop, no dignity, naked on the ground. Basically, this is what the WEF wants you to be, right? This is the low status that they want you, the lowest common denominator. This is you eating the bugs, literally. They literally eat the bugs. This guy is going to crawl his way to a sofa in a Dino box and watch Love Island as soon as he's finished snacking, right?
Poor guy.
It's just his delivery driver was late, right? This is the direction for most people. Or you could actually be active. Where do I have these guys? Who else is on the island? Do I have
Ragers?
I don't have the image of them. Okay, you can be the Ragers. You can actually be doing something, but you're controlled. All the Ragers, the ones who are actually out doing something, are very clearly controlled by an alpha. They are not choosing their own direction. They are also slaves. You might think of that as anyone who is the so-called, doing well in Britain does so as long as they obey orders.
And
that
then
is
the neo-pagan freemen.
Well, yeah,
who
there's
live feudal lives in protected habitats.
Yeah, so those are your options on the island are not looking good. You're absolutely servile and humiliated, eating the bugs and eating the slop, or you are basically just a lackey for a hostile power. So your only other option apart from that is a retreat. It is to be separate, to dare we say, ride the tiger, to step away, withdraw from the mainland and have an authentic culture. If you get away from that, you can find actual community. This is, maybe more in a spiritual, cultural sense than an actual physical sense, but a physical locational sense would be implied by that. These are the people who have escaped the curse of modernity, and they are poorer for it, maybe, but they are spiritually richer and certainly healthier for it. That is what this film is getting at. TLDR, Rev Turn, says Alex Garland.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly would like to, outside of zombie apocalypse, I would like to live in that little community. It looked lovely. Nice big town hall get-togethers where everybody has a bit of a piss up like that. That's great.
Everybody eat cod and apples.
Everybody knows each other by first name.
Yeah.
Approved. See? Approved.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of envied that community.
Hell yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. There's I mean, we moved off it early on, but there's so much in here about just the myth making and the mythological. Like this is a healthy community reforging its own culture. Like
they've got their own folk ways that have adapted to the times, but are rooted in tradition at the same time.
There's so much we could take apart. It's just let's take the scene where Jamie basically tells an absolute BS story about Spike and his heroics.
Yeah,
like that is myth making. That's mythological. It's setting Spike up as a great man, but it gives everyone hope. Is it directly true? No, but it is something that revitalizes a whole community, and it gives a purpose. This is what you can live up to. This myth making, these heroics, is something inspiring.
When they need the inspiration, however, Spike can't handle it because he knows it's not true, and he's still coming off of, he's still a boy. He hasn't grown into, he hasn't made the realizations yet. That comes later when he confronts his father after tending to his mother and talking to, was it Ben or Sam? His father's mentor and best friend. The older gentleman talking about the facts of life.
Yeah. Well, he has to go out on his quest, doesn't he? This is, the hero's journey, and this is where the film moves thoroughly into the mythological, which is, how can I say, I mean, you can call me schizo for this, and I maybe, I want to watch this again and get my head around it, but it's this, Dr. Kelson is someone who, his whole thing is he has accepted death. It's going to happen. He isn't moved by it. He doesn't try and kill the zombies because he's not trying to sort of adjust anything or go back to the old ways. He's just doing his own thing. So sorry if I can, I just want to get this bit. And the whole thing is a lot of this, the rages, you can see them also as like clinging on to life at a horrible cost. Whereas Kelson is just like, no, accept death, accept your place. As Harry pointed out, join the structure. You as part of play a small part, maybe even an anonymous part. Ultimately, in the structure, but you are part of it. Ultimately, who knows who any of these skulls are? But the thing is not great without them and their contribution. And when Spike climbs the Tower of Skulls at the end, in one way it's the most obvious thing that he's going to climb to the top, but that doesn't make it bad. It tells you that the film has communicated to you effectively because you knew he was going to have to do that. He had to ascend, he had to conquer, he had to, basically this was his encounter with death, to accept it. And he
had to conquer, going off of the achievements and lives of those who came before him as well. Absolutely. None of it's in a vacuum. It all is part of a continuum.
Absolutely. And something that was really relevant to that. On the island, because his mother is confused, and this is such an old writing trick, but the confused person speaks the truth. His mother has delusions that he's the dad, that she calls him dad, right? Basically, father. In doing this, it's like he is becoming the man. It's almost like she's skipping generations. He's the boy, but he will become the father.
Yeah.
Right. It's how he steps up in this mythological journey. Sorry, I've talked for a lot there. So, Murgoot, do you want to?
His final acceptance that he's a man comes with the understanding that his mother is dying. Yes, the doctor drugs him so that he can't stop the death of his mother, but he does accept it. He accepts the skull. He climbs the tower. He conquers death in his own mind. He comes down and he takes the baby back to bring fresh, clean blood to his family, and then goes back to complete his quest on the mainland. It's a very good point, and it's very mythic. And then he runs into the fucking Savills and dies. But just one of the technical things, the way the doctor controls Samson with the blow dart gun, morphine and xylazine, damn, that's a harsh combination. But it would have been better in the field of flax that they had poppies growing. If they could have found somewhere like that, it would have explained how he had morphine.
Yeah, that would have been a good detail. Oh, by the way, since we mentioned Samson, just quickly, folks, we like a bit of attention to names here. Any interesting notes on the name Samson?
Samson, and the pregnant rager was her nickname Delilah in the script notes.
I don't. Well, you wonder, don't you? What do we see him do a lot? He pulls the heads out with the spines. We also see him use that as a weapon.
Yeah, I said in chat, he's basically that one guy who spams one move in Mortal Kombat. Like that's all we ever see. I just wanted to quickly
and he's constantly pulling a Devil May Cry taunt as well.
I just wanted to
go on,
touch upon this guy as well, Kelson as well. But there is still very much an element of that doctor in him in this movie, because again, as you know, as it's well established, the infected aren't themselves dead but ill. So I think he has been looking at, like studying, because obviously he learns things about the infected, like you sort of talk about the morphine and the xylazine. Sorry. So obviously, you know, he's obviously doing a bit of R&D, research into how they operate. So, you know, maybe long term he could be looking at, you know, a way of reversing it. But yeah, he still seems to be very much following the Hippocratic Oath when it comes to them. And I suppose the only way you could sort of answer why he's willing to euthanize Isla, I think that's more of a humanitarian or a humanist approach, because death is all but certain at that point. So she can go out on her own terms.
I did like the prophylactic of rubbing iodine on himself, but he doesn't live near enough to the coast to get that much cod to make the iodine. But that's just me being pedantic again.
You do have to wonder about the supplies at this point. So just on the Samson name,
Samson. What a massive wang.
Aside from that, so I just assumed Samson in the Book of Judges. You know, I mean, Murgoot did too, because Samson and Delilah, super strong, but horrifically misled, very boastful, not cautious, ultimately undoes himself with horrific decisions, but notably famous for slaying thousands with a bone. In his case,
Jawbone of an ass.
Yeah, jawbone of an ass. So maybe an interesting reference. I want to ask about the scene though. I found this genuinely unexpectedly moving. This hit me hard in the feelings. Like this just worked. Amazing performances by everyone involved: Jodie Comer, Ray Fiennes, and Spike's actor. I'm afraid I can't recall his name. But yeah, just I did not expect 28 years later to be genuinely emotionally impactful in that scene, and it massively was for me. I just wanted to ask everyone on the panel, how did that hit you? Is it what you expected from the movie? Maybe starting with Murgoot and then going down?
It hit me right in the feels once he showed him how he defleshed the skull, talked about memento mori, talked later about memento amoris. Hit me right in the feels, and it was not what I was expecting. Like I said before, I was expecting a death cult in the ossuary, not just a doctor who's trying to memorialize the death of Britain.
Yeah. Oh, well said. And Lawrence, well done. 28 years later. Yes. Guilty. How about you, TCG? You too manly for that?
Too manly. But what I will say, I tell you what, I was so impressed with this boy. This boy's acting skills.
Alfie Williams.
Yeah, Alfie Williams. Bloody brilliant actor. You normally, it can normally be really touch and go. Wow, phrasing. With shit. Okay.
Another Savile enjoyer, I see.
No. Well, it's still 2002, right? But no, you know, with child actors, it's very difficult as to what kind, like, as to the quality that you're going to get. Like, you're either going to get like an absolute like dog shit actor, or you're going to get someone who completely understands the role and just completely nails it, like this lad. Yeah, I think.
How would you compare him to Macintosh Muggleton?
Is that
who is our? That was the name of the kid actor from last week, from 28 Weeks Later.
Oh my god, Night
Andy
and Day.
is played by Macintosh Muggleton.
Night and Day. This kid was leaps and bounds better than our old Harry Potter wannabe. Yeah, no, 100%. Like he absolutely nailed it. Like he was convincing. He was so convincing. And yeah, for a scene like this, which in all seriousness, it was a really powerful scene. I saw someone mention in the chat earlier that everyone in the cinema was crying at this bit. Like there were a few tears rolling from sort of people around me. But yeah, he did really well. He did really well in it. I mean, in the film overall, like he did really well, but just in this particular scene where it needed to matter because of who it was. Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes.
Oh, brilliant. Daniel Hall has absolutely nailed it with this one. Yeah, direct contrast to modernity's infantilizing pull from seeing death. Life has brought the living back into direct proximity with the reality that they will die and must learn to live. Wonderfully put. Yep. Absolutely wonderful.
Hence why he goes on his extended expedition. Towards the end of the film. He still has more to learn, and so he separates himself from a coddling lifestyle that could look after him and comfort him.
How about you, Harry, on this scene?
I thought it was beautiful. Come on, it was so well done. I too, like everybody else, was not expecting a tearjerker scene, and I thought the message as well behind it was quite beautiful as well. This passing of the torch from generation to generation, guided by this mythic wise figure in the form of the Doctor helping to shepherd the boy from childhood into adulthood. The maturity of it knocked me off out of my seat, to be honest. I just was not expecting it. And having now rewatched the first and second films as well, the fact that it came from this series which has been built on the backs of brain-damaged retard characters, where the message hasn't really been anything in particular other than rote themes that you typically get in zombie films, and also army bad. The fact that this film does a complete 180 and is like, no, we're working in the realm of the mythological. This is a mature story that we're telling. I'm all for it.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, and it stayed on the right side of like emotional but not cloying. Just it's a mature film. This is mature filmmakers coming in, not doing the schlocky genre piece they might have been expected to. It's not talking to the audience like that.
Oswolf in the chat is asking, second part of the hero's journey in the next film. I hope so, and I hope that that's what they're setting up with the Jimmy cult. The idea that Spike is maturing and he has more challenges to overcome, but he's being held back by association with grown children who refuse to grow up. It, again, could be quite a nice parallel to real life. These Jimmy kids, if they're obsessed with Power Rangers and other childish things, could be Reddit consumers. Like Alex Garland has written the script. Unironically, they could be mindless consumers. They are obsessed with product. They have no more new product to get obsessed with, so they are stuck in arrested development because they have not received their firmware updates.
That's amazing.
Gold chains, gold teeth, rings, the Slav gym suits, and the blonde wigs. Yeah, Arrested Development.
Yeah, it's all surface level with them. You can tell already. Even the tonal whiplash is almost screaming at you. These are children. These are immature children who are just obsessed. They are Zack Snyder characters.
They don't even choose their own name. Their name's given to them. Right, you're going to be Jimmy. They're fit into a little box.
Yeah, whereas
I love this reading.
Spike is going to be individuating himself.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of people with Peter Pan syndrome, aren't they?
Yeah.
And ironically, the most mature one would be the actual kid, which is it would be an interesting dynamic to see if it plays out in the second film. What I worry about though is that the second film is going to completely steer away from this story and set up a separate story, and the two will come together in the third. That's what I think is going to happen. And
the working title now, I think it might be the official one, is 28 Years Later, The Bone Tower.
The Bone Temple, yeah.
I think that's what I heard. It's coming out in January, so it's not too long to wait. We will find out. But
again, my biggest hope with it is just that Alex Garland is the writer, so they have a connected. They have an unbroken screenwriter. They're being written by Last Jedi. As part of the reason Last Jedi was the way it was because Rian Johnson didn't just come in as director, but came in as writer as well and wrote his own story, explicitly intended to ruin all the setup that he had been given. He said every time, he's like, I don't care what happens after this film. This one's my film. Nia DaCosta, for all of her faults, I've not got my great hopes for her. At the very least, she can't do that. It's still Alex Garland's stamp.
I just checking now. The Bone Temple is written by Alex Garland.
There we go.
Good.
It's a good sign.
He's writing all three of them.
Yeah, and it's produced by Danny Boyle as well. It's just Nia DaCosta that's directing it. So Alfie Williams is starring in it apparently. So is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Cillian Murphy's supposed to be in the Bone Temple.
Yeah, he was supposed to be in this one, wasn't he? Yeah. He's definitely in the Bone Temple. But I heard that he was supposed to be in this one. They did film scenes for this movie, but they just ended up cutting them. I think
he's
could
an
be wrong.
executive producer, though.
Yeah,
so.
he's credited as an executive producer.
Well,
in this
I
film.
struggle to see where he'd fit into this unless they were doing
That's it. And I
a
think
separate
that's
plot offshore where it was maybe in the European mainland. He comes back, but I can see if that was what they were doing, why they would cut it, because it just would take away from how direct and focused this is.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made sense. And I think as much as everyone wants to see Jim in a 28 years later film, sort of see what's happened to him since the first film, I do like that they're sort of making you wait a little bit longer, because it really helps build these characters. We need to know about these characters first before we start diving back into our old characters. But yeah, Kelson, so he should be in this as well by the looks of it. But it looks like, I imagine it's going to be taking place immediately after the events of this one, because I've just seen Oswolf mention if it's going to be taking place in an earlier time. I don't think that's going to be the case. Historically, that's not what these films have done. They've moved forward in time. But yeah.
Can I want to just, maybe it's just me, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure having Cillian Murphy back is like a big draw for me. Not because I don't like the actor, but I'm not really that curious about what happened to Jim.
I don't care about Jim.
Yeah,
I don't care about him as a character at all.
Do you not? I do.
Do you want me to be honest? I don't care about any of the characters in this series except for the ones in this film. This is the only one where any of the characters have mattered to me. No emotional connection to any of them before, just because they are all too stupid to live.
Jim was a dunce. He was too innocent, too stupid, and he caused everybody else. He lowered the IQ in the room enough that everybody was affected.
Also, frankly, outside of the idiotic moves that they make, I just don't think there's enough good character work in the first two films to really build an attachment in the same way that you get a feel for who Spike is and what his character arc is, and his actions don't take away from that. Whereas Jim, who is Jim? Really, he's just some guy who woke up and his parents are dead, and his only thing is, I need to survive somehow. With Spike, you get a much more well-rounded idea of who he is, what his goals are, what his purpose is, and it all wraps into this mythological part of the film as well. So I'm so much more invested in him than I am
undoubtedly,
any of the other characters.
Danny Boyle and Garland are far more mature. I mean, 28 days later, they were novices.
This is the thing. This is what I was going to say. I mean,
they're much better storytellers now.
Yeah, I feel like experience or lack thereof probably played a role in the first movie. But I do think that vagueness and that lack of background of those characters was intentional, because I think as a viewer you were meant, I don't really think it necessarily mattered for the plot. I mean, all we knew about him was that he was a bicycle courier. That was it. And the reason why he was in hospital was because he was in a traffic accident. But yeah, I'm more interested to see where he has, like, how far he's come since, and what person has he turned into after all this time. I get it if there's not really much interest on your sides. And the thing is, I don't think Jim should be a focal point of this movie. I absolutely agree that the story here with these characters, I think, is far more interesting. I don't, it would almost be insulting if you have what I think was a great setup in this film, and an introduction to these characters, only for them to then take a backseat for someone who was in a film, 20 odd years ago, who was the main character of their own film. I don't think that Jim himself should be like front and center. I think it should be Spike. it's this should be Spike's trilogy, or the people around him. This should be their trilogy.
Dr. Prepper has a good point.
Yeah, 100%.
Jim is a self-insert for the audience. We learn with him what's happened to the world.
Yeah.
There are still much more compelling self-inserts than Jim out there.
True, but then I'm with Murgoot that experience and their skill levels perhaps at that time were a role to play. But yeah, I mean,
I agree with what you're saying. I don't expect them to suddenly turn it into the Jim story when he comes back.
I hope they don't.
And I think you're right. Hopefully, Alex Garland shows much better control over an understanding of what makes a great character in this film. And in other films, like we've mentioned, like Ex Machina, the characters are much better in those films. So if they do bring Jim back, when they bring Jim back, I expect him to be a much more interesting character this time around.
I hope so. Yeah, definitely, I hope so. But yeah, I don't want him to be a central character. I don't want him to be I don't want him to be I don't want him to take that main protagonist role from people like, or from a character like. I almost keep want to call him Jimmy from a character like Spike.
I tell you, if
Jim's in this movie,
if they really want, if for whatever reason they really did just want to get everyone's hopes up and then do a rug pull Last Jedi situation, they would have him show up and die immediately.
Yeah. Yes.
That would be brilliant. He comes back on a rescue mission to be like Bono for the infected.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I don't think I'd mind, because he's not. Yeah, this isn't his film. This isn't his. This isn't his story to tell anymore.
They have the potential to use him well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I worry that he is being deployed kind of like the old jangly keys, the member bearings.
Yeah.
So it's like, it could be done well, but I think the tendency of Hollywood is to say, you've got to bring someone back from the first film, whereas this like clearly shows us like this is barely part of the same trilogy at all.
I think like Daniel Hall mentioned earlier in the chat, it is fan service at the end of the day. I wouldn't have minded in hindsight if that one infected what just turned out to be Jim and he's just offed. People might think
the helicopter at the end of the first one just crashed.
Yeah.
The planes didn't pick them up. They just got ignored. They're all dead now.
Yeah. But in hindsight, I might have been a bit annoyed if that was sort of like sport before I seen the film. But having seen this film now and the story and the direction they're looking to take it, I'm far more invested in these characters than I am Jim. So if it was like, we didn't know anything about him before, and he's just dead. Okay. It sucks, but we move on.
Yeah.
Memento mori.
We went past something, like there's so much in this, but I've just had a particular note for about one of the most based scenes in the film. I've just got to get it because like we looked at it and we enjoyed the humor of it, and that's Eric showing Spike his phone.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Look at my hot Swedish girlfriend. You can try. That scene. Great stuff. But I thought there was a double meaning to it as well, which was a little bit of, Eric turns up and he is like the face of modernity as well.
Yeah.
I'm doing this thing, but frankly, I wish I was stacking shelves or whatever he said. And he's
delivery
driver. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's sort of just saying like, this is my girl. And it's one of those things that sort of, when you see the old archive footage and you're just like, oh, it looks a bit nice there. Then you're slapped with the UK, UK, that one. Like seeing that phone was like that. You're just like, yeah, I'm not sure modernity is, don't know if we need to go all the way with that.
Yeah.
Not sure it's all onwards and upwards.
Another modernity part, well, not modernity, but supplies the gas station diner that they break into. And the benzene fumes, it would have outgassed through those shaky windows like nobody. Still would have been toxic as hell, but and reeked of benzene. But my first question is, why does a diner and garage have a 55-gallon drum of benzene in it? Are they stupid? They're not an industrial manufacturer. I was just like,
that
just
scene
wanted it
did
for the
make me.
plot point.
Yeah, that scene did make me think it was probably BS. Like none of this
Well-
would work. But there we go.
There was oh god, what was the name of it? It was not a Little Chef, because that's what Happy Eater. That's it, because it was Little Chefs that took over Happy Eater. Now that's really interesting about that particular. What's interesting about that particular scene is obviously they threw that in for like some of the older viewers, like hello here, as a bit of nostalgia bait. But Happy Eaters went out of business and were taken over by Little Chefs in the 90s. So if this movie, if the outbreak was to take place in 2002, then in theory that Happy Eater shouldn't exist. It should have been a Little Chef. And there's been suggestions or sort of like rumors floating that potentially they've tried to retcon the start of the outbreak from 2002 and knock it back a few years into the 90s, although that's very much unconfirmed and pretty much just guff. But yeah.
So
I
would love if that did end up being an actual retcon. I would love if the aim of it was to take us to literally pre-Blair Britain. That would be the ultimate.
Well, right, okay, actually,
by Garland.
So I've just looked it.
This is how good we had it.
Guess the year that Happy Eaters went out of business.
1997.
1997.
Oh my god!
Go, man.
What
what
were Doyle and Garland trying to say? What were they trying to say?
What did he mean by this?
There's so much meaning.
See, like for all the arts,
my
and
brain is feeling
films,
extra wrinkly right now.
Take that little Britain. It's like no. There's so much in this that is clearly a bit of a questioning look at where we are with modernity.
I feel like leftists trying to take their own messages from this film are just trying to correct their cognitive dissonance. They're really trying to cope. No, this film is anti-values and anti-tradition. It's anti the things that I dislike. Somehow James O'Brien watching this furiously trying to make it about Brexit somehow.
And all of the Happy Eaters were rebranded to Little Chefs in 1997. So maybe they were trying to push it back a bit to a pre-Blair era.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Reckon we'll see a Wimpy in the next one.
Oh my god, please. Yes, I'd love that.
I would like that. That would be
I used to go to Wimpy's all the time. In fact, actually, was it this year? No, it wasn't this year, but last year. Because I've been banging on about it for ages. And for my birthday, my wife was like, should we go to Wimpy? And I was like, yes, please, let's do it. And so, I had a birthday lunch at Wimpy's, which was very nice because it was very reminiscent of the days when my nan used to take me there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love Wimpy's.
Cozy.
Yeah, so cozy. And they enjoyed it too, which was nice.
There's only a few I know that are still going, but you see them, you're like, oh yeah, there you are.
Yeah, it used to be one in my hometown, but it's been replaced by like some Indian fried chicken shop now, which then got closed down because of health and safety concerns, unsurprisingly.
Yeah. Hang on, can I just do a possible spoiler for that?
Wait, there are still 59 Wimpys in England.
And but luckily,
we need a breeding program. We can bring
12
them back.
in London. Outside of London, we have 8 in Kent. Those are the 2 most populous Wimpy locations.
Wow. Yeah. Luckily, I've got one of the Wimpys is in the next town over.
There's one in Staffordshire near me.
Do it.
I actually know where
that is. It's in Milford. I know what I'm doing on Saturday, boys.
Hey.
Listen, I've just got to ask on the subject of your local diner, unfortunate diner TCG. Do you notice Clarkson's Farm season 4? I've only watched 3 episodes, but episode 2 where they go to the pub, the old pub that then became an Indian restaurant. And after they've told you this, they just give you a tour and show you scene after scene of horrific, filthy mismanagement. Like,
Oh
just
my God.
Oh, really?
pot of
I've not watched
sagaloo that's
series
been left
4.
to rot.
Oh.
They just left the what?
Ooh.
Wait, the Indian staff just left a freezer full of absolutely rotten meat and didn't bother clearing it out. What?
Oh, hey guys, here's a fun little tidbit of me. I won't say the exact same name of the town, but in my hometown right now, there's been a Vice article from a few weeks ago, because Vice is still around, talking about this. There was an orphanage, so something that was used for good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And an orphanage that was being disused for years opened back up again recently, not as an orphanage. I saw that people were going there again, and I always wondered what it was for. And it turns out some Arabs have started a doomsday cult in my hometown.
Really?
Yes. And they believe that there are talking, costumed rabbits on a faraway planet that control events.
Oh, wow.
Too much hashish.
Yeah.
Are they
Hang on. Blair's Britain.
Are they auditioning for a role in this film as one of the more kooky sort of cult tribes? Because they unironically, they sound like they would fit quite well in this universe.
I wish it was so. I wish it was. Well, actually, being Arab, they no longer would fit very well in this universe. But no, they're just insane people who, for some reason, have been allowed by the council to move into an old orphanage and start a cult.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Looking forward to
harm there.
My missus is furious.
So
she's going to start like petitioning the
Shaba. I mean, they sound drugged and whacked out.
Almost certainly. They've already got women who are moving into this old place saying like, oh, the guy who's the cult leader is the most important person in my life. I've never met anyone. He's going to lead us all to salvation. So there's almost certainly going to be like grooming and abuse and all the
They're going to be under
things.
a glass table very soon.
Yeah, there's all the sorts of things that go on in cults almost certainly going to be happening in there. So yeah, that's just a fun little thing of where modernity has brought us.
And this is why we all want to go back to Holy Island.
Yep.
Well,
I'm so convinced now that this film was set in that this was literally 28 years from 1997. I am so convinced now. It just feels like it's right, but then it causes an issue because in the first film they literally show the Millennium Dome. and the London Eye.
Oh, don't worry about continuity.
Yeah, no, we can forget about
this
that.
film does not care about continuity with the first film.
True.
The canon is what we say it is, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I just got the vibe like, Frenadillo. Frenadillo is the director of 28 Weeks Later, You know how he just kept all the dongs out? I swear, Danny Boyle came back in it. Right, you left out the dongs. Not only are we putting about 400 in this film, we're nuking your ending too. It's all gone.
Very good.
Don't play me like that for an idiot.
There are penises in Train Spotting as well, aren't there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he must have a quota.
And Shallow Grave.
He's fascinated. Danny Boyle's fascinated by it.
He's phallically fascinated.
Yeah, Danny Boyle's attitude to his 28 series is like my attitude to the Friday series. If it hasn't got tits in it, then it ain't a Friday the 13th movie. So yeah, Boyle just looked at that and went 28 weeks later. Hang on, I'm doing a count. I'm seeing 0 dong. Therefore, gone.
Yeah.
You
Gone
don't
from
exist
canon.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you said Friday, I wasn't thinking Friday.
No, I know. Yeah, I'd really like it.
Ice Cube and Friday.
Damn. You got knocked the fuck out.
I did not expect this stream to go into Bye Felicia mode. Oh dear.
Danny
Right,
Boyle likes his bones.
Well, all right, folks. I think we've, unless anyone has anything else on this, I think, can we maybe move into closing thoughts and scores for 28 years later? Especially if you would agree it's the best of the series. And I will hand that over to TCG to start with.
Oh, blimey. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, okay.
No, it's fine. It is
You can
absolutely
go
fine.
into it. I trust you.
Okay, so when I saw a horror show post the title of this stream this evening, I thought, that is a bold statement, because this film has drawn both positive and negative criticism alike, and it certainly has had people divided. I really struggle to see why, because if I am actually going to have an opinion on this film, then my opinion is aligned with the title of this movie, with this stream, sorry. I think in terms of storytelling, it has by far the strongest storytelling aspect. Characters are very, very well written. The tension at some moment, the tension in this movie is great. We were introduced to sort of a new look and how the virus has progressed in 28 years that I think it could be reasonable, because it would be a bit dumb if it just sort of stayed the same over that time frame. So I like the new angle that they're exploring. The thoughts, the concept of life and death, I think, is beautifully handled. And I would have the only main criticism I have about this film, and it is quite nitpicky, is the amount of Deus Ex Machina that we see when it comes to Spike. The amount of times that someone else has got him out of a jam, just seemingly out of nowhere. I would have liked to have seen him sort of fight his own way out of situations as part of that character growth from the film. The first time he travels to the island with his dad, yeah, makes sense. He's not, he's learning. But yeah, as the film went on, I feel like he should have been able to come into more of his own, and it kind of is let down even at the very end when the Mighty Morphin Teletubby Rangers come along and try and take over. But as for the ending, I've got no problems with it. I don't mind the tonal shift. We're living in a universe now in Britain where society is fractured, cultures have sort of split, and so we're going to see different dynamics. And I'm really genuinely excited now to see what the next film brings, and I'm also very pleased we don't have to wait very long for it as well. I know I've been waffling. My score, given that I gave the first one a 9, I think it was, or an 8, and the second one a 7, this one is getting a solid 10. Top notch. Well done, Boyle. Well done, Garland. Don't fuck it up.
Very nice. How about yourself, Harry?
Yeah, obviously it's the best one. Nobody who's listened to the past 2 streams is going to be surprised at all that I think that this is head and shoulders above the first 2, nor do I really care all that much personally about the continuity issues between how things have changed in this film compared to the first 2 films. As far as I'm concerned, completely connected. in from those first two, because I don't think there was much worth holding over from those in the first place. So yeah, the characters, fantastic. The actual narrative is great. I thought the pacing of the film was really good as well. There are 3 distinct acts in the film. You get the opening rite of passage where they're going out for the expedition. You get to the middle portion where they're on the Holy Island, which acts as a sort of intermission and sets up the character and emotional conflicts and stakes for the rest of it. And then you get the final act where you get the boy's mission, Spike's mission, to try and see if he can get his mother cured, which ends up going not how he expected, of course, but he learns a lesson in that, which I thought was beautiful. The themes were great, other than my potentially schizo take on some of the stuff to do with the magic of the placenta. I thought it was remarkably based. It was really pleasant to see a film which felt like it was honestly paying tribute to England and the English people. So there was a lot to love in this. I'm with TCG, Alex, Danny, can't believe I'm having to say this, Naya DaCosta. Please don't mess this up, Naya. Just direct a good film. Don't interject with your own ideas. Try and add some stuff in here and there that you think will work really well. No, just translate the script as Alex writes it. Alex, write a damn good script. That's all we're asking for here. Carry on what you've set out here, and I think it could end up being a really great trilogy. So yeah, I'm going to go with TCG, give this a 10. It's a nice juicy burger, a lot to chew on. It's got some great sauce on there. It's got some ketchup. It's got some hefty pickles thrown on, and also a single shining tear from the chef.
Oh, chef's kiss on that review. Wonderful. How about yourself, Murgoot? What are thoughts and feelings? Best one here?
It's well written, well acted, especially Alfie Williams. How they managed to get a child actor to put this much pathos into it. Wow. Ralph Fiennes steals the show. He brings so much emotion to it, and he's well explained. Some of the technical stuff I can leave behind. It's beautifully shot. I can't believe that this is shot on iPhones. It's technically beautiful. It's the ossuary, the shot of the rusted angel, the fire in the distance, even the deer stampede. They aren't that herds of deer and herds of caribou aren't that loud. That's more horses or cattle stampede, but that's a technical niggle. But that was beautiful to see. Holy Island is well thought out. I love the alphas. Even though they went to Bad Dragon for their prosthetics. Well, they really didn't, but basically, yeah. Danny Boyle and all that. It's beautifully done, emotional, and I give it 9 burgers, lots of ketchup, huge pickles. Hell, a gigantic cucumber patch, but
you're gonna stick some placenta on it as well.
Fried placenta, yeah. Let's give it that. But for the last scene, I have to give it a big round of gooey, stinky Limburger cheese, which takes it down from a 10 to a 9. I mean, I think they ruined the film with a comedy sketch. That's just me.
It is jarring. I'll absolutely give it to you. It is jarring, but no, lovely. I'm all right. Ooh, 9s and 10s. This is fabulous. Chat is with you. Lots of 9s. I don't think we've seen a 10 from chat yet, but we have got lots of 9s and 8s. As for me, you're not going to be surprised. I'm massively putting this up. This feels like it's a film that has been designed to mature with the audience who saw the original. This isn't a film I'd have liked as much when I was younger, but my goodness, it really speaks to me now in many ways. The base aspect and just the very basic sort of memento mori aspect, it really speaks to me, which is why this was able to hit emotionally. I'll try and offer Harry a sort of, in my closing up, and maybe a slightly non-subversive reading of the baby non-infected, that maybe it's not the magical placenta, which is just the movie logic for why that can happen, and it's not particularly great logic, but maybe the idea is that you can find people can come out of modernity, and if they're looking to, when I describe like the mainland is just the UK, the modern state, there are going to be people who want a way out of it, and you have to give them a way out. So that represents rescuing people from modernity, I guess. That's my cope reading.
That's a reading that would fit with the rest of the themes, but I don't know, just with the very conspicuous bit of diversity and the decapitation of the incredibly Aryan Swedishman. Just that one bit was like, oh, are you trying to sneak something in here? You've given me everything else, but it's been served up on a lovely this 3-course meal. It's been so nice so far, and then you just want to sneak in just a little bit on the side.
Can avoid it, could they? Well, it does have a Sidnat stank on it, so I just thought I'd offer some cope. But that aside, people will complain about magic placenta. They will rightfully complain about the contrivances of rescues. But let's be honest, every single one of these films, as we've said, has been chock full of sloppy elements, and this has some of the least of those. This is the most coherent one we've seen yet, which is a massive achievement. I particularly noted that this is the only one I can recall where they took very intense effort to make sure that someone who'd been splattered with blood was wiped clean. Like, Spike went out of his way to make sure some blood that had got onto his mum did not go any further. That was a nice touch. Don't ask about the jimmies and blood spray. Don't worry about that. That's like a pocket universe scene. It should have been mid-credits to give you a little bit of a break from it. But anyway, I'm rambling. This film was beautiful. It was more coherent than anything else in the series. Continuity be damned. This is just a superior film. I would have normally written off anything by Nia DaCosta, but I'm giving it a chance, and we'll see where it is in January. As for this, strong 9 for me. No, 10. I can go up to a 10. I think provisionally a 10. I need to watch it again, but at the moment I've only got my initial reading to go off, but it's a powerful one. Thank you very much, Adam Loves Horror, sending in $5, very much appreciated, saying I'd love you to cover Resurrection 2022, psychological horror. I don't know that one. That's a new one to me. I'll look that up in just a second. Or Raw 2016, yes, that's been requested before, but Animals Are Harmed, yeah, that is a bit of a blocker for me. I do tend to dodge that. Looking forward to your review of Men. Yes, I will try and do that stream. I will really try and do the stream. Thank you very much, Adam. Very much appreciated. So yes, well-earned high marks. I think I did aim for hot takes over this entire series, and I like to think we've delivered fairly valid ones in each one of those. I'm very happy to stand by saying this is the best of the series. So there we go. There we go. That is the review of 28 Years Later. Now, what are we doing after this? We've still got another stream in. Let me just check. We've actually got 2 more streams in July. So what are we going to do next week? Well, I thought something we could do to bridge the gap is look at something that was very directly inspired by the success of 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and that is Charlie Brooker's Dead Set. So
What?
outside of the logic of this series, but very much influenced it. There's a connection, and I just thought it would be fun. It keeps us in the zombie theme, but in the a zombie theme with a little bit more going on. And we've talked about it before, so yes. Next week we will be doing Dead Set. So look that up. I believe that was originally a TV series, but it's kind of condensed. So I believe it comes out to about 2.5 hours.
It does. Did you know there's also a Brazilian version of it as well?
Is there?
Yeah,
No,
it
I
was.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it was. It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, because I remember. Oh, this looks interesting. I put it on. I realised, hang on a minute, this is literally Dead Set.
Wow. God, no, I didn't know that at all. Blooming heck. If you got to try that and let us know how it is. So, folks, if you have not seen Dead Set before, I think you're in for a treat. It's an absolute winner. Charlie Brooker knows his horror, and it has got oh crikey, what's his blooming name? Guy who's in Ghost Stories, Andy Nyman. There you go. Andy Nyman having the time of his life. You guys are going to love that. So get your watching Dead Set for next week.
It's called just so you know as well. It's still on Netflix. It's called Reality Z.
Oh, the Brazilian one. There you go.
The Brazilian one. Yeah.
Tricky Mental. Is that the Big Brother one? Yes, it is. It is what happens in the Big Brother house when a zombie apocalypse breaks out outside. It's absolutely mad and it's wonderful. Yeah, you're gonna love it. So thank you so much to the panel. Thank you, Murgoot.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I love this studio.
We're all getting used to
Thank you very much for having me. This has been a blast.
I don't know if people actually know, but StreamYard reconfigured things, so we're all a bit lost. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, and thank you, TCG.
Bless you. Thank you. Pleasure as always. I've really enjoyed this covering this trilogy. Thank you for finally getting around to doing it. Yeah.
Oh, it was a great suggestion. It was a great suggestion. And Harry, of course, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Brilliant. And if you can make Dead Set, you're super welcome. We appreciate your time, and it would be lovely to hear you on that as well.
That'll bring back
you're
childhood
welcome.
nightmares. No, it's just I've explained the story before. It'll bring back the childhood nightmares.
Okay. Oh, fair play. All right. Well,
I'll probably make it.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Well, panel, you've been fantastic. Chat, you've been lovely. Thank you for the super chats. Very much appreciated. If you are listening on a rewatch and want to leave a super thanks, that's cool. Or join as a member, it's always welcome. But regardless, I hope you have a fantastic Friday tomorrow. Lovely weekend after that. You've got your horror homework. Thanks, y'all. Cheers.
#ShillGang.